We knew we couldn't rely on having Arnold in the movie because he's a governor and he was busy with more important things. But it was we really wanted to make our own movie first. There might be a hint of him in there in some way, maybe suggested or talked about. But I thought the best idea would be just to make a really terrific movie. If it really works, people love it, and we do a sequel, well then, of course, there would be room for him for anything, because Arnold's great. I talked to him about the original script way back when, 15 years ago. So I know he loves this series. Yes, there's a lot of great quotes. That was one of the things we wanted to make sure is that the movie is very quotable, and there's lines that you could use in everyday application. So, yeah. It's something we talk about early on, that we wanted to make sure it was an R-rated movie. It's I don't know what it's going to be rated in other countries, but I know in the United States it gets to be an R, so that we can. In fact, the studio encouraged us to make it as bloody as we wanted because there's unrated DVDs and things that go out later. So not to hold back, just to make the best movie possible and just tell the story that we wanted to tell. It would have been harder if we had to make it PG-13, that's for sure. It was shot on digital, Panavision digital cameras. It's great to be able to see exactly what you're doing, to know if you're getting, what you see is what you get. You're right there on the set. You can dial in the look that you want. Everybody can see what it is, especially when you're working with effects and on-set creatures. And I just like to shoot that way. It's just, and the DP was fantastic. He did a great job adopting it. I think he had shot some digital before with commercials only, but the movie looks amazing. No, it wasn't really a 3D type movie, and we had such a short production post schedule that we, although I've done it before, in a short schedule, it didn't seem like the right fit for it. So maybe on another project. Maybe if there's another one, maybe. We use CG to enhance certain things, but for the predators themselves, it was important to do it old school because it just looks better. It's right there on the set for us to light, for the actors to respond to, react to. And I think that's what makes it enduring, is that they're humanoid and you can identify with them. And I just felt like there was no need to change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I hired a guy that I've worked with quite a bit, John Debney. He's fantastic. He's worked with me on a bunch of stuff, including Sin City, and he just finished Iron Man 2 and had an opening, so we grabbed him. He wants me to come up with some stuff for the score, like because we like to work together. But we'll see if I have time. I'm finishing the Machete score right now, but I'll certainly try to add something to the mix. It's a great score to work on. It's an amazing score to work on, and we get to utilize some of Alan Silvestri's original themes. So you'll get to hear some of the music from the first Predator in this as well, which is very iconic, very exciting to hear. I'm just glad we got to use that, because it almost doesn't feel like a real Predator movie unless you have some of that in there. Yeah, that was one of the things that broke down early on in the script, was to say I wanted each of the characters, the human characters, to feel like they could be the star of their own movies, because they're all come from different parts of the world. They're all different types of killers. And then once we got that down, we had a group of people that really liked it. So now we got to do the same for the Predators, because we can't just have them, these rich human characters going up against stock bad guy men in suits. You have to make sure that they all have characteristics and personalities, so you can differentiate them from each other, and so you can understand them a little bit more. So, we did take the time to work on that. It's in a part of Hawaii nobody visits, uh, but it is beautiful. It's crazy looking. I think it was in Hilo, and in the thick areas of Hilo. It was hard to get to. There in Texas, a lot of the places you might see are actually in and around Austin, believe it or not. The studio would call every other day and say, "Where'd you find that location?" I said, "It's down the street. It's right here in Austin, right outside of Austin." They go, "Where'd you find that location? That one too? Wow." Places, strange rock formations, strange natural areas, parks. I love those things. They're crazy. We wanted to introduce these hunting techniques back into so some of the predators. One of them's like a we just call him predator tracker. He has these hounds. I don't know how else to describe them, for flushing the victims out, and they're pretty cool, gnarly looking things. They look very real. We built them, and then there is some CG enhancement on those, but they're cool. I like those. I normally wouldn't, because I sort of follow George Lucas's lead. That if I remember when he wanted to do Flash Gordon, he couldn't get the rights, so he went and wrote Star Wars, and that worked out much better for him. So I've always tried to create my own franchises. And if someone, said, well, "Would you like to direct a James Bond movie?" No, I would rather just go create my own James Bond and call it Spy Kids and own it and control it. Where Predators was different because it was a writing assignment. In 96, 95, in 1995, and I didn't expect to ever do anything more with that. But when they brought it back to me, I just always liked that character. I thought it would be a fun project for my whole studio here to work on. We could learn a lot doing it, advanced technologies, and the creative challenge of taking something that was thought that you couldn't bring back because of how the movies kept getting progressively, cartoonish. How you could creatively bring that back and make that scary again was a great creative challenge. So that was the reason to do it. The awesome is fear. I mean, we just found that this really could be scary again. If you went back to the hunt and got into the hunting techniques of the predators and why they're after us, and why they're interested in us to begin with, you really don't stand a chance on a predator hunting preserve. So you're kind of doomed as soon as you touch down. So that sense of doom we play on a lot, and we're terrible. We make you fall in love with characters and then do terrible things to them. So very much like the predators. So they want that. They want you to feel for each other. They want you to be human, and then that's what they prey on.